Hello everybody, Storm here. Welcome back to Factorio. In the last episode, we got work started on what will eventually become the new foundry that will take advantage of all of the new ore that we have been producing. So, that is what we got started here. We have set up this big loading area, and we've got most of the loading bays laid out. Still need to make a lot of warehouses to fill in the blueprint. We also need to connect through all of these, all the additional tracks, because they're not all done. But we did set up lines to deliver copper and iron, and it has run enough to fill in the warehouses. So those are pretty much ready to go when we start getting things built here. But what we need to do is kind of design the production blocks so that we know what additional inputs we're going to need, because we're going to need more delivered here than just ore. So that's what we need to figure out. So I'm not sure there's going to be a ton of construction this episode, though I am going to be making warehouses and waiting for bots to deliver the materials to me to get those manufactured, as we will, wait to get all of this filled in. But what we're going to be doing is primarily planning this episode. So, from the layout of copper smelting here that we have set up, we know that we're going to need some sulfuric acid input, we're going to need some oxygen, and we're going to need to bring in some mineral oil to make coolant, in addition to the ore. And we're also going to need mineral oil for the iron. But in addition to that, we're going to need some limestone, and we're going to need some coke. Now, we are making coke and putting that in the, loading that in a place where we can pick it up with trains, but we do not have that with limestone. I don't think we also have anywhere where we're storing oxygen either. So oxygen is going to have to be generated on site, and limestone is probably going to have to be generated on site. So we're going to have a lime plant. We're going to have an oxygen generator. So that is something we're going to deal with. So those are not going to be actual brought in by trains. All right. So for the iron, we're going to need nickel and cobalt. Now, I know that cobalt, the only thing... Is there any other process out there that uses cobalt? I think there might be steel? No, there's a process that uses silicon. So they don't have any manganese. That's one issue. And manganese... I'm not even sure there's a way to get it anymore. Cupric, ferrous crystal sorting. See, that would get us manganese and chrome. Crushed ferrous ore. That would get us manganese. Excuse me. Crushed sapphirite, crushed givelite, crushed rubite. Then we can make crushed ferrous. We could sort it to make manganese. But it would make iron in addition, so the whole plan here was to not be dependent. Not have these like multi-dependent processes. Because if our iron backs up, then it's going to stop us producing manganese. So we would have to basically dump iron on a near constant basis to make sure that we could continue to make manganese. Which I don't necessarily want to do. So the alternative is to use silicon. Which is fine. I think we'll use the silicon process. With steel. So let's go ahead and set up steel. Add a recipe. We're going to be making steel coils. Sheet coils. There you are. And we need molten steel. We're going to be using silicon. Alright, so we're going to be needing some iron ingots. So let's see, we were bringing in, what, 31.2 iron ore? Let's see, you're being scaled to what? Let's see if we rescale this to 40. 23.4. Iron ore. So, for steel, we're going to need what? We would have available... So we're making 40 per second. We'd have 16 per second. Alright, let's see what we've got. 160 per second. To make this much steel plate. 53.4. This is what's going to consume all of our iron. Making steel. Okay, let's just do 1 per second. Let's do 1 per second save. 4, 2, 8. So we could do 8 per second. No, that's 32. It's 4. So 4 per second would be 16. We may need to seriously scale up our iron production. Because again, this is each sheet coil turns into 4 plates. So basically this allows us an output of 16 plates per second. Well, we'll see how it turns out. We'll just have to make sure we set this up in a way that we can expand it. And then we may have to expand our iron ore production. We'll have to see. Alright. Because we're also going to need cobalt steel, right? We're going to need cobalt steel. Cobalt steel is a plate. And we're going to need Invar, which also is a steel product. Molten cobalt steel takes steel ingots and cobalt ingots. Let's see. How many ingots per second are we making? We're making 8 steel ingots per second. So if I scale this to use, say, 4 per second, one is 0.7. So we can make what? Maybe 5 per second of cobalt steel. Excuse me again. Let's see. Invar. Same deal. We're going to need... Let's see. Let's see if it's the same ratios. 0.7. Yep. So we can do, what, 5 per second? At least until the system fills up, and... And hopefully we don't need a ton of that. Well, we'll see how it turns out. Alright, so we're going to need more nickel ingot. We're going to need more cobalt ingot, 1.7 per second, so 2 per second. We're going to need 2 per second. And we're going to need... So we're going to need something around 50 per second of nickel and cobalt ingots. Now, cobalt, we don't actually ever go beyond the ingot stage because there is no recipe in the game that requires cobalt plate. And to demonstrate, I think I've shown this before, but for cobalt plate, this is what makes it. Where it's used is nowhere. So, all we need is ingots. And we need to scale it. Alright, so we're going to need carbon. And we're going to need cobalt oxide. Cobalt oxide takes processed cobalt and more limestone. Okay. And we need 50 per second. So there we go. 33.4 ore. That is perfect. Three, 3, 6. Nice ratios there. So that should work. And we're going to need nickel. And we are actually going to need nickel plate. Because if we use this and we take a look at nickel plate, there is a couple recipes that use nickel plate, particularly Roboport antenna arrays. But that is very, very, very minor. We're going to need almost no nickel plate. So we're really worried about making the actual ingots. And we'll add in some plate production just because we are going to need a small supply. But for now, we're just going to say, I need nickel ingots. And we're going to need 50 per second nickel ingots. So we're going to need nickel cathodes. Processed nickel. Looks like this is going to need a bunch of sulfuric acid. Okay, good. We'll be able to supply the nickel ore. Alright, so then that is everything we would need to support all of the iron and steel production. Alright, so next, copper is going to be used in a couple of additional recipes as well. We're going to have an actual gold wire coil, which requires molten copper and gold. But primarily we're going to be worried about bronze and brass. And gunmetal. Am I really going to be worried about gunmetal? I think we are going to need that for some stuff. Oh, actually, hold on just a second. I probably have enough to make some. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Get those manufactured. Alright. So let's start with molten bronze. Copper ingots. How many copper ingots are we actually going to be producing? We're going to be producing 70 per second copper ingots. So we can divert some of that to make bronze. No, we're not making molten bronze. That's not what we want. We want bronze plates is what we want. Bronze plates. Molten bronze is going to be an ingredient there. We're going to need copper ingots, we're going to need tin ingots, and we're going to need zinc ingots. Okay. So we're going to be sending some of this to bronze, we're going to be sending some of this to brass, we need to be sending some of this to gilded copper wire. We're going to be sending some of this. So we need brass plates. We're going to need... Oh. Well, I'm not even going to be able to do this. I'm even going to set everything up. Gunmetal plates. Molten gunmetal. Again, there's going to be tin and zinc. Well, I think what we'll do is this. We'll start with this. Because this should all be self-contained, right? It needs no additional ores. We are going to have to divert some copper ingots, but we can start setting that up as a separate thing. All right, so we know we're going to need sulfuric acid. We're going to need coke. We're going to need carbon. We're going to need a source of limestone. We're going to need a source of oxygen. All right. So we need to start delivering. Let's get those installed. Oh, we just need 2 more. All right. Well, those should be coming in shortly. Now I just need to decide where we're going to do all this. We also need something to make fuel for the furnaces, the blast furnaces. I know what I'm going to be doing for there. Oh, I hope I can actually do it. Can I do enriched fuel blocks? I can. Okay, good. Good. Because those provide the highest energy density of any solid fuel. Alright, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we make this into a full 4-way junction. And then we start building here. We fill in some of these little lakes here. I think that's where we're gonna do our building here. Oh, except that I am pulling water out of this particular lake. We won't necessarily need to fill it all the way in, but we will need to fill it some of the way in. Come on, get out of my way. There we go. Oh, and this thing's pulling water out of there too. Could I consolidate that a little bit? We may be able to consolidate this. Yeah, that should provide more than enough water. That roboport may end up in the way, but we can always move it if we have to. That signal's superfluous. Actually, a lot of these signals we're going to go ahead and remove. It's a lot of deliveries there. All right. Just gonna fill this whole thing in. I've run myself completely out of landfill. Alright. Alright, the first thing we're going to bring in is we're going to need... Not you. We should have constructors incoming. Oh, looks like they all need a recharge. Alright, there they go. Alright, we're going to need to drop in another RoboPort or two, I think. Let's take those deliveries and let's go get that RoboPort in place and get it some power. Oh, speaking of power, I haven't had a chance to work on our power generation at all yet. So that's something I've got to work on off screen when I have a chance. Okay. Instructor was scheduled to bring over what we needed. Alright, there we are. Let's clear these trees. And actually, this is gonna have to move. Put it up there. Oh, there should work. Alright, because what we're going to be bringing in is we're going to bring in a liquid. Can we clear a lot of this stuff as well? Oh, we haven't put in the stop yet. Okay. Stop. Train stop. There. Is that coming in? There it is. Uh-oh, we're just outside of the logistics area. All right. Well. There you go. Alright, so the pumps. And then we're going to need the tanks. And what this is going to be is this is going to be, we're calling this what? Foundry, right? Foundry Alpha. Fuel delivery. And where did it put my tanks? There they are. And so this is going to be for fuel. Which I should have some of that being stored off of the refinery here. We should have fuel oil, which we do. Which we're going to need a locomotive. And we're going to need 2 fluid wagons. And I needed 2 more warehouses. Yep, there we go. Oh, this is all junk. Okay. Let's go ahead and make this a blueprint. Accepting that. Alright, so we'll have this one for solid stuff, this one for liquid stuff. Alright. The fluid wagons should have been dropped in there. There we go. And they can both connect. Good. Alright, and so you first refuel yourself. And then go grab fuel oil until your inventory is full. And then come here until your inventory is empty. And it has no path. Well, obviously, because we haven't connected it up. Get all those trees out of there. Alright. Constructors should be on their way. You know what? We're just going to probably have to do this ourselves. We're going to have to jog up there because I am not going to work on filling all that water that you would need to fill in. Alright, there we go. And it's on its way. Okay. So then I'll just need to get all of this filled in, and then we can start doing the loading areas for what's eventually going to be sulfuric acid and carbon. Are we storing carbon anywhere? I know we're storing coke. I know we are storing coke. And I believe coke can be turned into carbon. Oh, that's right. We're actually dumping it because we need to keep this running to produce sulfuric waste. Right. But I believe that carbon is actually made from coke. Yes, it is. So we can actually have a little processor here that'll turn the coke into the carbon we need. Alright. But now that we have a plan to begin some of our construction here, we'll probably get to work on that. Well, we'll need to get the additional loading bays in, and then get to work on the first stages of the foundry when we come back next episode. Alright, so for now, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you next time.